Welcome back, folks, to the Smite 2 Founders series here. Jorby and Trelly still bringing you through all of the action. And Trelly, we had quite the stomp in the last game. Mega Plumbers cleaning up real easily, but we are moving on now. We got DDK versus Project Win coming up here on the EMEA side, our last EMEA match of the day on the air.
Yeah, and it should be an absolute banger as we were talking about. I don't think it's going to be as one-sided as what we just witnessed, but I have to lean just a little bit towards DDK on this one. I think Project Win are still some contenders. Like I said, I believe they have the ability to, and I want them to just come out swinging. But from what I've been watching, man, I just think DDK is a force to be reckoned with, and we have to we gotta see all angles here, you know. And I'm a realist above all else. And after watching a game like that, I feel like a stomp is like something that's in the back of my mind always. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, let's take a look at those standings over here in EMEA. This is Group A that we are looking at. And you can see there's a couple of off-air matches that are going on. We did see Chase the Enemy. They're not out of it yet. They do have to play Let's Go Asgard again off the air today. So we will likely have that result probably by the end of our match, depending on how long it takes. But we do see at the top of that DDK, one more win to get them through. And we'll see if they can accomplish that here, that they'll have to play again tomorrow and they'll have that off-air match. But first, they will have Chase the Enemy to play here, or not Chase the Enemy, excuse me, Project Win to play. So there's the standings for you on that Group A side. Everyone only playing one game, so you only have one win or one loss to your name, unless you're Mega Plumbers, so the only team to play two so far, and an even 1-1.
Yep, not bad at all. But yeah, to look forward. And it's all about just improving your standings here. Again, for EMEA, you got two groups of 5, round robin style. Everyone's going to play everyone. And then you can look towards those standings. So you want to make sure you get very important wins against the teams that you should always beat. And then, of course, those head-to-head matchups can be very important as well. So just something to keep in mind at the end of the day. Just win every game. It's simple as that. If you don't want to get into the nitty gritty and the head to heads, oh, you guys beat us, but then we beat the team that beats you. Just win every single game, and you don't have to worry about any of that. But a big topic of conversation for Jorby and I, of course, was the switch ups in the meta. How we see Fenrir as a top dog, no pun intended, for weeks, and then we start to look towards, oh, now it's Odin, now it's Amma, now we're picking Zeus. So what is that going to be? I couldn't tell you, but there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, with 10 new players in the lobby with their preferences, let's get into picks and bans and see if we still see that heavy preference towards banning that Amaterasu first. We did see the Odin ban, which is something a little new. Odin's someone you've been championing for a while, Trelly, and he's been getting a lot of love in the lobbies, and everyone's feeling that. And Fenrir does get banned here, so not even picked or banned in the last match, but showing up here in the ban stage.
And that's what I expected, man. I really didn't think that nerf was going to hurt him that much. Again, 20 damage late game is not so much. 20 damage early game, if that was the case, would be different. But his early damage really was not touched. Zeus still is going to be something that DDK has on the brain. And they are going to remove that pickup and bear it. See, this is what I'm used to, man. I could have called this from miles away.
Right now, Amaterasu next, right?
I mean, I think Odin is probably more so in the topic of conversation, but we'll see. I think it's preference at this point. Amma and Odin, they can be interchangeable as far as I'm concerned, depending on what your style is. Amma was leaning more towards the jungle before her nerfs, though, so something to keep in mind. But Loki never going to be a bad pick. Still top tier jungler, probably the best jungler in the game. Arguably the best character in the game if you're able to get to level 20. So definitely something to keep in mind. But hey, Jingwei, Baron, Loki, everything is right in the world. Everything makes sense again.
Trelly, you are very happy that you don't have to overthink things. And Neith getting locked in, of course, always going to be great. Neith is one of the most well-rounded characters in the game and will always be popular just because of that kit, and no matter what stage or meta that you're in. And I'm curious what the next pick will be here for them, because this Neith, most of the time, I'm not going to say most of the time, because I think you do see Neith kind of split between mid and ADC a good bit, but you're seeing her less, I think, in the mid lane these days, aren't you?
Yeah, I prefer her in the mid lane just because the time it takes for her ult to travel is based on where she is. So if you're in mid and you shoot left, or if you shoot right, it's quick. But if you're in duo lane and you shoot all the way to solo, it takes a little bit longer and there's more chance to body block, right? But you are correct. More often than not, she's going duo. Not to my liking. I want Neith in mid lane, but Baron is going to get locked in here. I mean, Odin, but if with that, we probably have Odin either in jungle or solo, and then Baron in support or solo. There's still some ambiguity there in the pick selection. Like I said before, I like to wait until I see all 5 before I really lock something in, because Jingwei and Loki, that's easy, right? That's more often than not just carry jungle. We don't have to overthink it. But picks like Odin, picks like Baron, picks like Neith that play multiple roles, they can be a little bit dodgy. So I don't want to lock anything in just yet. We need some tanks though for DDK, some initiation to try and help the Jingwei, the Loki get to late game. Their early is a little bit lackluster. Bacchus, that's some early damage. That's not bad at all. A lot of setup, a lot of lockdown, a lot of pressure. Never gonna be upset about the Bacchus pick.
Yeah, love me some Bacchus. Curious what the other picks are going to be here. You still need someone in. I mean, it could be Bacchus solo. You could easily still do Bacchus support, but you could also, Ymir still on the table to help assist this Jingwei as well. I mean, a couple of different options you can definitely go. It will be Ymir.
Not bad.
Indeed.
Not bad.
That's my first pick call.
Called a
Trelly.
shot, man.
My first pick call on TTV Smite game. Let's go.
Round of applause there for Jorby. That's big. And hey, that's a great front line as well. We've been talking about the late game. You facilitated it well. They need early pressure, and Ymir can bring it in spades. Bacchus over towards solo, Ymir in support. So we're still looking at a mid laner for DDK, whereas Project Win technically has 2 mid laners already locked in, depending on where they decide to put everything. Again, I'm more of a tanky Baron kind of guy, but people like playing Baron mid as well. If it is going to be Odin jungle, I wouldn't hate it because I think it has a decent matchup into Loki, but more often than not, it has a good matchup into Bacchus as well. So could see something like a Thanatos last pick here for Project Win. Could be an Ama jungle. They still are holding on to it. It will be the Thanos. So yeah, okay. So Baron support, Odin solo, Thana jungle. Put Soul over an ADC and leave Neith in mid. That's where I would dictate all these picks, and I like the way this draft just came through. But you still need someone on Loki duty, and I don't like it to be Thana. I just think that we've talked about this before, this matchup in particular. Like, one of these gods, this one right here, is very easy. You can't really miss any abilities. You kind of just lock in, whereas Thana is, did you hit Scythe? If so, you can win. If not, you may have thrown the whole fight. So Odin is a lot easier at just locking down Loki, in my opinion. So gonna be a difficult one to try and keep your eyes on Drake, but someone's got to do it.
Hey, I mean, look, Impact is going for his namesake here, right? Thanatos, he can be that impact god for you. The Morrigan will actually get locked in. The Morrigan usually featured on the ban list for teams, depending on who is specifically playing her, but not someone we've actually seen hit the arena that often in the last few weeks. Morrigan getting locked in here for DDK to round out the rest of picks and bans. Trelly, how you feeling overall about this DDK roster?
Yeah, I think they've cemented some pretty decent early to late like bridge picks, but the Morgan more so leans toward late game. You can go double Loki, which is pretty disgusting. You can grab yourself a Thanatos ult, a Neith ult if you're trying to pick off some kills, and then the Odin Cage in team fight. So a lot of different selections here for Kalipo to try and go towards to just make use of this Morgan pick. It's all going to be about getting the late game, though. That has not changed, even with the Bacchus and the Ymir. Like, Loki and Jingwei are going to be the brunt of your damage, and they want some itemization before they are really consistently online and cooking. Whereas Project Win, I mean, Soul hits so hard at level 2. Those auto attacks really start to add up. We've talked about Thana at nauseum about how that early pressure comes around, and then of course the Odin and the Baron, just early CC characters like that, where like level 2, level 3, you're just able to outright win your lane with your damage and your CC. Can be very annoying to try and deal with. So I think DDK is gonna have to play a bit safe here. Like, maybe not early warding, but definitely paying attention to the rotations and just where everyone's at. They are up against a composition that really wants to snowball this early lead.
Yeah, I was going to say, you were talking about DDK really kind of looking towards late game with their picks, and it feels like the exact opposite for Project Win, where they want to win this game in the first 10 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised to see that early invade, try to get this Thanatos fed a little bit. You have like I mean, you talked about all the early game bursts that you have on this Project Win team between the Soul, the Odin, the Neath, the Baron, the Scythe on Thanatos. I mean, everyone's got all that early game damage output. So DDK, surely you got to be looking out for these early invades if you see it here as we get into the game number 1 between DDK and Project Win.
No 5-man grouping, at least not yet. There's a little bit of action happening with Impact. Do they go for a wraparound play, or are they just sort of peeking? I don't know. I mean, considering the fact that Judas is still in base, I don't imagine they're trying to fight anytime soon, right? Like, you guys are kind of just spreading around. Doesn't really seem like a great time to try and scrap. So there's a grouping. I'm not sure if you noticed that there are 4 people in this grass right now. I really hope you did, because if you didn't, could be some issues. Oh, we're actually good though. Yeah, you gotta pay attention to those relics. There is a blink available in the duo lane for Project Win, so wouldn't have been too much trouble. And 3 Baron's Brew pickups. Just remember that extra damage can certainly start to add up. But I've got my eyes on DDK. They have blink out of Lipo and blink out of Drake, so plenty of movement available for these guys as well. Something about the Morgan, you don't really need a safety relic. I prefer to get one myself and then just transform into someone with blink, but you can also just get blink and then transform into someone with beads if you're ever in trouble. That option works a little bit less because it takes a bit to transform and use the relic. If you're getting like blink Ymir, you're not gonna have the reaction time to do that, but hey, blink will get you out of trouble more often than not, so I don't hate it.
The safe start for, well, it wasn't safe for DDK. They definitely were hunting, and it seemed like Project Win were aware of that from DDK too. Everyone kind of sitting back after they took that early peek up towards solo lane. But now both these teams, you were saying that this game probably will be a little closer than the last one that we saw, but if Project Win have it their way, and if they're the ones winning this game, it will probably mean they got that snowball going exactly when they wanted it to. The first fight in mid, but a lot of damage being done. Forces the Aegis out immediately. Thanatos has come to play. Try to get a little bit of that damage off and force a bit more presence in this mid lane, but it will allow DDK to start getting those early mid objectives.
Yeah, not bad at all. You have so much damage coming through. You gotta respect it, especially with that Aegis down for now. Purple buff invade doesn't really go well. There is a possible rotation. Impact's on the way. Whatever jungler. Oh man, I was gonna say Impact's on the way. Impact's on the way to getting aggressed upon. The slow is good. Double blink, but do you have another vanish up? That's gonna be the tell. If you have vanish up, you can find the kill. It's all about can Impact run before the. No, he's got to be gone.
Oh yeah, nothing you could do about it. And Drake will get that first kill. And Loki continues to haunt the dreams of every SMITE 2 player who hopes for other junglers in the future. But this is Loki's jungle as far as anyone else is concerned. And a little look towards this duo lane as well. DDK start exactly how they want, get this Loki going early and often. And, well, Project Win will have trouble actually even forming the snow in their hands, let alone getting a snowball at all.
Man, when I think of a snowball, I never think of like the one you throw. I always think of like like in Indiana Jones, like getting chased through like a big,
like the giant boulder ball.
Exactly. Yeah, rolling down the mountain. But I guess the question is, when does a snowball in your hand become the one that rolls down the boulder? Probably when you lose your support in duo. Can you find one more auto attack? You can. Good body blocks, man. That is the ADC you want. The one that will jump in front of you, say, "Get down, Mr. President," and tank for you. Because not every ADC would do that. They're like, "Hey, your support. Like, I'm not."
Nope, they're leaving.
I can't help you. Good luck. I'm gonna get back to farming. But hey, not a bad idea. You definitely want to keep your support alive, and Scald Main lives to see another day.
Yeah, especially early game. You're about as tanky as your support. So you might as well get in there and block a couple of shots. That early game pressure belonging to DDK, at least across mid and duo right now. And you have the opposite story here over in the solo lane. I mean, that's Odin for you. Odin against Bacchus, who's got a little bit more of that early game clear. Odin should be out clearing Bacchus at least in the first 5 minutes. Meanwhile, though, Project Win keep getting caught out in their own jungle. Freeze gets a little bit of CC and the wall. No escape for you. And there you go. First kill for the Ymir. You'll happily take that one. DDK roaming around this jungle early and finding the picks that they want. No trades needed.
Not a bad look at all. Purple buff gone. Unfortunately for Nicol, not going to be able to get any sort of farm here over in duo. Just sitting under the tower where you are stuck to at the moment. I'm trying to think of where Project Win can try and get aggressive. I wouldn't hate the solo lane attempt, but we almost saw, and we will, get rotation over towards solo. Bird bomb into death is what we're looking for. Does Odin jump on the wave? He sure does. That should be the go button. Wall yourself in closer, but no, doesn't find it. No freeze. Unfortunately, Viviez may have just wasted their time teleporting over here because blue buff is too little too late. Not going to be able to go in for any sort of invade. But hey, I don't mind the attempt. I really don't, because I think these teleporters, they get used, but I don't think they get used enough. The rotations over towards duo to go for Gold Fury are pretty popular, but doing exactly what Viviez did there, where just you rotate over towards solo and just sort of see, you know, if there is an up down, maybe I can find a freeze, maybe we can find a kill, and you don't lose much for it. You just back and go over to duo lane again. You have so much mobility on this SMITE 2 map.
Yeah, seeing more of that mobility as time goes on would be really nice. Even some support over to that solo side. Just so much interplay you can definitely have. The Project Win, at least stabilizing for now. DDK is just gearing up for the next one. Not going to prevent the back. You will make sure you can get this gold camp. And early on in this solo lane, though, every time we come over here, I mean, we're seeing the Ogre really getting the better of this Bacchus. As you should be, right, when you look at the matchup. It hasn't always gone that way whenever you're watching. So many times it's in the hand of the player, especially after watching Sager's Bacchus last time around, but no Sager in the lobby this time. Solo lane going a little bit differently, but definitely stalling out here a little bit as everyone's still looking for that lane pressure.
Exactly, and I don't hate to see these invade attempts either. Like when you're able to get deep in the enemy jungle, like DDK's been able to do, there's not really anything punishing you. Remember, Impact has some itemization that you need to try and find, like full Hydra's Lament already picked up for Drake, whereas, oh man, that was not a good time to up down. You may not know this, but there's a Loki right next to you as we speak, and unfortunately, you did just jump. So, yeah. Listen, there was a little bit of a call out because again, we saw Viviez and Drake in the enemy jungle. They were at back camps, but apparently no one told Yugador, and he jumped right on cue, right as they were showing up to solo lane, which is not what you want to see. Impact, you're level 5 Thanatos. I don't think you want to be anywhere near the level 8 Bacchus.
Definitely not. Meanwhile, Ymir popping it ult. Baron's Brew popping, just trying to get some damage out, and D-Drake is online already. Almost 7 minutes in. 3rd kill for him. Thanatos ult forced out on Impact, and he did indeed try to play around with that Bacchus.
So, Dorby, you asked me a bit ago, like, is this set gonna be similar to last set?
And you were like, you know, it'd be a little closer, but you might be wrong here.
I might be wrong, but hey, you know, it's just an early lead. Listen, I've casted a lot of SMITE in my day. And I have seen much bigger throws, like much bigger throws.
That's fair.
So
That's
there's
fair.
still, this is only a 0-4. It's only a 3 to 4K gold deficit at the moment. I'm just talking about like Project Win. They went a very interesting route with some of their builds. Like, hey, Scald Remain picking up the first item beads, love it. Nicol going first item, the Reaper, don't love it. Next up, Judas Priestley going Bluestone into Book of Thoth. Like, usually it's Sands of Time into Transcendence, right? You go like an int item for the extra cooldown, and then you get Strength first because Strength is just better than Intelligence early, right? But Judas said the opposite. And don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of the Bluestone on Neath as well. I've tried out many different ways to build Neath. I've landed on the Sands of Time for sure, but there's a time and place to go for the Bluestone. And it's usually when you want to get active early. That's the benefit. Bluestone is leagues better than Sands of Time early, and then it kind of scales poorly. We got a possible hovering death here. Can you find a good target? Looks like no.
No target found, and in fact, things flip on you quickly. Freeze, forces out the beams. Everyone's forced to retreat, but here comes Impact. On the ground, finding the kill, but going to get traded out. Tries to blink to escape. Death Knight to stay alive, but can't. survive for too long. D-Drake will take you down, and D-Drake will go on a frenzy, taking everybody down. You'll take that trade on a rampage right now.
Yeah, that was a lot of action very quickly, unfortunately. You do get your first kill of the game if your Impact and if your Project win. And that means Impact gets to go back to base and finish up a full item, which has been something I've been waiting to see. Sorry, Ledge seems to be the first item there. Did receive some buffs in the meantime. Not enough damage to find the kill on the Judas, but this has been the Drake show so far. This Loki has been an absolute menace throughout the map. No Gold Fury pickup just yet, but I think we're definitely in that territory where you get some ward coverage down. Maybe look to pull a Gold Fury sometime in the next 2 minutes, I would hope. If not, I think you're massively misplaying here. You just have such a lead. You have so much control, and it's pretty much just walk up, find CC, kill. Like, that's been the call. Here we go. We got a freeze. We got a knock up. Life of the party. You have the pull, you do, but you're just delaying the inevitable. Finally, the down. Impact comes in. Death Sight could do it, but a nice Aegis avoids the trouble.
And still, Soul's getting the damage out. Left click in for the win. Oh! Zoning it out completely. Still gets the kill. I thought Nickel was going to get completely zoned out of it, but instead, the 3 survives for a little bit longer. You're not going to survive against this Loki. You can try to box all day, but you'll happily take your play there. And that's about as good as it could get for Nickel.
Man, that was a really clean wall from Baviez. Unfortunately, this is the Soul that picked up Blink, so walls cannot stop me. That speed buff does not belong to you, Judas, and now you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. The Morgan and the Loki are here, but this time the ultimate couldn't find it. Do you have the damage? No, you don't. You needed to find Assassinate. But what about the second Assassinate, Dorby? They definitely have that one. But little as you know, Impact was around the wall, and Deathsight will pick that one up.
Yeah, you can get the assassination, but you make too much noise. And now the guards came, and Utos will pick that one up. Another fight inside the jungle. And Hugador just forced out of it again. Not having a good time as we get a little later into this game past the 10-minute mark. Impact still going for a little more. Misses everything.
Unfortunate, but hey, there's still a little bit of time on their hands to try and make it back into this one. I did say Gold Fury in 2 minutes. We're well past it. World Weaver on the way, but unfortunately, every single ability I just watched missed, except for World Weaver, which can't miss, so no more action over towards the duo lane for now. But again, I mean, DDK, this lead is too massive to not be fighting on the left side of the map. Like, they should have already had a Gold Fury by now, in my opinion, which these are the kind of, like, split decisions that can really interrupt a team. By a little bit of an ultimate here on the Vivia is taking a lot of damage. Where's the team? Can someone help him out? Maybe he doesn't need it. Not quite in threshold yet. No abilities land. The Hovering Death not going to find a kill.
He's been... the VVS has looked really good on the walls. Those have been on point for sure. Barely surviving. And meanwhile, the trades... Soul's taking a little bit of damage. Nickel's surviving for now and actually retreat after a little bit of boxing. So got that pressure pushed up a little bit here for DDK. Impact could make a splash there on that mid lane. As you have mid laner just holding down under tower. And then look towards that Gold Fury at the moment. You guys are going to wall immediately and probably bail out of that one. They get a pick, could finally get it. But I mean, we were talking about it earlier. That gold not down in the first like 5-6 minutes, despite your really massive lead early on, could have really forced a deficit out of Project Win, but not going for those objectives early. We've seen that bite teams in the past, and you said it too, Trelly. You've seen gigantic throws in your past, so could have one here for DDK as the lead is tenuous. But building.
EMEA so far, there's a blink just to get Impact out of trouble. The freeze does connect. Assassinate on a Thanatos. Can you find a little bit more action? That Odin Cage should cement the first kill of this engagement. He almost made it up into the sky. But, oh, it's a bloodbath now, Jorby. Everyone falling down. Hugador does return one. But, yeah, I don't think you're okay with the 3-for-1 trade. All the while, Wengu didn't even rotate, man. Bacchus just split pushing.
That's insane work. I guess you take what you can when you've been winning those fights pretty cleanly. And gotta love that for DDK.
But they're still not going for gold, man.
I don't know why. You had
They're
3
making me
deaths.
angry.
It should be immediate gold, right? I feel like this is 2012 stuff. Like we should know by now. 3 dead. You're all on that side too. Wengu just gets a free kill.
He's doing side quests at this point. He's like, you know what? Let's push. You guys won the fight without me. I'm gonna take red. I'm gonna take blue, and I'm gonna kill a Neath that I just found in the jungle. Unfortunately, Judas. Yeah. There's not much you're getting done there. You run into the level 15 Bacchus, you're gonna have some problems on your hands. So with that, I can actively say that we are seeing a little bit of misplay, right? Like, you are 100% correct. The Gold Fury is how you're gonna be able to build leads here, and it's just not happening. Project Win, they feel so safe on this side of the map that we just witnessed the speed buff invade, right? Like, that shouldn't be happening. The left side of the map should be dominant up until Fire Giant spawns in. DDK, these are the kind of minute decisions that you need to be changing up if you want to be one of those top echelon teams. Maybe they just feel so confident because this lead is here, but hey, Project Win's okay with stalling this one out, man. They need to close up that gold lead. Finally, Gold Fury started up. Gold remains nearby, but too little too late. And the first Gold Fury of the game goes down 15 minutes in.
Finally get it, and it does fall, and the cage comes out as well. The party not gonna get you too much. We'll try to pop everything you can to survive, but eventually you will fall to Immortal, and eventually you will fall to Calibou, and that's just nothing you can do about it. Project Win completely out of straits right now in the first 15 minutes. You haven't found any kind of success, despite the lackadaisical approach to the objectives from DDK. You said it, I mean, full comfort. Not even really that worried about it. They did pick up gold with everybody up on Project Win. And Wengu having a fun little time after Gudor got harassed a bunch in that solo lane. It is really feeling like this is at the point of no return right now for Project Win.
So far, the call Pyromancer started up. An extra runic bomb in your pocket would do well for DDK. They're still looking towards that late game. No crit online for Immortal, so things would start to go slowly if Fire Giant was the call. I'll keep my eye on him, though. You know, we were in the point where Gold Fury should have been looked at. If there was 2 Gold Furies, we would be at the point in the game where Fire Giant should probably be looked at, but so far that has not been the case. So I don't think that Immortal is going to rotate out just yet. You probably want one more completed item. Looks like maybe a Demon Blade, and then you can go in for Fire Giant Pole, which I would not hate at all. A lot of active items, though. Picked up for Viviez. Pharaoh's Curse, one of the most popular tank items in the game. That's just going to help out for slowing attack speed and movement speed whenever you're near someone. But Phoenix Feather, picked up for Viviez. One of my favorite active items, new additions to SMITE 2. Pretty much just resets time, gives you some extra HP, which really helps out. It's kind of like, you know, the equivalent of an actual Phoenix. Might need a little bit of an airstrike here, trading back, but here comes Odin. You got ult out if you're Immortal. That Sunder may just take you down, though. Can anyone help? Can anyone shield? Looks like that was just stopped in the last second.
Oh, barely escaping it. Hubador hoping for the bomb, but doesn't get it. Doesn't matter. Immortal eventually does fall. Viviez trying to zone them out with the ult as well. Is forced out in that early freeze. Impact forced out of his ult. And Bacchus has come to play. Wengu gets another kill. The cage comes back out, but Wengu does not care. Gets that kill down, and nobody can get anything going here on Project Win. They keep getting absolutely bopped out, and they're going to chase down another kill, get the stuns. Aegis forced, but doesn't matter again. D-Drake picks up another 8-0 and 8 on the Loki.
Not a great spot to be, and you definitely get chased down there if you're Judas Priestley. Fire Giant needs to be at least a topic of conversation. You did lose Immortal again. Probably want some extra crit chance before it's looked at, but if you're trying to close this game out quickly, the lead is only going to get bigger here for DDK, and they have so much presence across the map, and they really can do no wrong. I do love that rotation in from Hugador. Like, this Odin does need to use this influence throughout the map. You're level 17 for a reason, and you are still an absolute threat to just about anyone besides the, you know, the level 17th on the side of DDK. So going for Immortal, definitely the right play. Jingwei, despite the fact that you can return a lot of damage, can't really take a lot of damage, right? You're going to be feeling the brunt of that DPS. And this is a play that we've seen Project Win try a lot Full on dive, lethal, World Weaver, pull out the airstrike, see if you can find it. The slow is good, but you don't want to dive a tower that hard, so just some ults going down.
Meanwhile, Calipoop getting some kills for DDK elsewhere, and Nickel getting chased down a little bit by Wengu. My God. Jeez, Wengu. We talked about it, the level 17 diff coming out for the Bacchus, and now a fight for their life. Here comes two. Wengu doesn't care. Dives right on top of it, and that Bacchus doing the work. Impact, meanwhile, forced out onto the ultimate to retreat, and so DDK across the board, finding the pressure, able to box out under tower. It doesn't really matter at this point when you consider the gold lead, the XP lead, and the everything lead here for DDK. Project Win completely forced back.
As in the call, tier 1 tower. Pretty free, as well as a purple buff invade here for DDK. I honestly, I think the correct call would be, you know, set up for Gold Fury one more time, which has spawned in and they are on currently. Back, go fire. Like maybe pyro first, but fire. Like we are in that gold deficit 100% of the time. You give a little bit of time for Project Win to split push if you do this, but is it really something you're worried about at this point in time? I can't imagine you are. I mean, you got level 15s pretty much throughout. Level 14 here on Judas Priestley. Your ability to come back into this game is it's dwindling. So DDK makes the right call. They head right over towards Pyromancer and they pull it right away. Don't hate the call to grab the tier 1 first. Just remove the bastions of safety as well. Definitely not a bad look there. Project Win has been trying to find farm, and tower makes you feel like you're safe, where you can sit there and get farm. Not true, really, and especially not if you are Hugador, who is likely going to get chased down here. Can anyone rotate over? Seems like no, they all just left. Maybe you see a small rotation in from Kalipo, but that's about it. It's gonna take a bit, but they're on the way.
Well, have to get out of there quickly. Hugador will pop the ult as well to make sure no one can chase him. We'll rotate right back around. Those camps about to come up. Continue to invade the jungle, take all the buffs away. Nickel doing his best to try to get this tier 1 down. The boxing is proving a little difficult. Gets a little bit of an assist, but coming on the back, Immortal absolutely annihilates it. Coffin finds the stun, but that's all it's gonna find. Is this Baron is getting pushed back completely. Goodbye. D-Drake gets another kill for their effort. DDK do not care. A trade for you here, a trade for you there, and a win for us on the objectives overall. Has been DDK all day here. A 16k gold lead, excuse me.
So they have so much presence throughout the map, and that DPS difference you just saw was Demon Blade. That was the difference there for Immortal. I mean, Nickel was getting the better end of some trades at first, and then the second crits online, things start to get a lot more Jingwei sided very quickly. So yeah, I definitely agree with this call. Go to the right side of the map, go for Fire Giant. We can see Jingwei's here, and you have 2 runic bombs, so losing it is, you know, I say it shouldn't be a possibility, but it is a heavily weighted coin toss in your favor. There is a ward down, a green ward there for Project Win, so they know this is happening. They could definitely attempt to go in for a steal. Hugador has Sunder, so steal potential is there, but can you just zone out the owner? Can you just try and kill him? Let's see.
He does get in, but Wengu preventing him from actually getting in there. Cage forced out and completely zoned out of it. Everyone's going to get deleted now. That Fire Giant goes down. Vivias gets another kill, and well, this just may be the beginning of the end. Hugador going to telly over to the duo lane just to get out of there. And, well,
that wave, that wave
I think that might do it.
Yeah. That wave had it coming, man. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta charge up shards of ice just to clear the way for your squad, and then push onward and start to look towards these phoenixes. Again, both runic bombs were used, so you're not going to see any phoenixes going down too quickly. But you got 18 seconds without impact, so you don't have to worry about any sort of execute for the time being, which I think is probably for the best. Looking at the Phoenix, though, I feel like they can walk in here. There's not too much that can be done about it. It's pretty much just, are you feeling confident stepping into the base of Project Win, or do you want to cross your T's and dot your I's and play this one slowly? All things considered, I think Project Win have decent wave clear. They've got like 2 traditional, you know, clearing characters with the Neath and the Soul. But DDK, they're playing this one smart. They're just going to back up. They're not going to give any sort of leeway for Project Win to make it back into this game.
Yeah, Project Win, they still can dole out some damage too in this team fight, but it'll be difficult, especially D-Drake been pumping out damage like it's candy. And everyone forced back, collecting those camps, immediate retreat. Back to your Phoenixes, only one tier 2 remaining. Almost no point even trying to defend that side with everything else also gone. And you're really hoping for an overextension, a pick of some sort that just helps you push these lanes up a little bit farther. You're talking about winning a bunch of fights and getting a bunch of picks and really trying to draw this game out. Just probably about another 10 minutes if you're hoping to get back into this game. The levels start evening out. They are starting to get there, but again, it'll be a little bit of a journey, and this gold advantage not to be scoffed at all. I mean, you talk about a 2-item advantage across the board for DDK. It'll be a while to actually come back from that, and everyone coming back there, at least trying to get a look, make it look like they could contest something, but they are forced back again.
Yeah, and speaking of, like, it would take... I think a full wipe would not nearly be enough just because of that gold deficit. Like, it's 20,000 and growing here for Project Win. So they would need to keep their Phoenixes tall, defend maybe you lose left bird. That would be an ideal situation here, is you lose left bird and you don't lose your soul in the mid Phoenix. That would also be ideal. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like DDK's done. They're still trying to fight this.
No world of ideals for Project Win. It's just the world of reality for DDK. D-Drake gets another one down, and it's only a matter of time. D-Drake wiping everybody clean. Immortal getting one as well. Impact sitting up high as the Thanatos forced back into the fountain. Wengu happy to just keep you there and tank the Titan. Wengu, a little bit of ego check here, holds you back, holding that Titan as well. Nothing Impact can do. And the damage should be enough here, as Wengu actually will be forced to back. Got that damage with everybody else down. I believe that should do it. The GG's, the DDK in game number 1. Dominant performances today across both our matches so far. Definitely in the first half of this one for DDK.
And they could not kill Impact, though. Let it be known that he was able to stay alive in his own fountain. And that's, you know what, a little bit of a win in and of itself. But yeah, this one was tough, very snowbally. You know, there was some plays that I think that Project Win were able to make from behind, which showed me some good promise. You know, they were still getting proactive with the Neath ults. They were trying to focus out Immortal and duo lane. It just, at a certain point, you have to accept that your itemization is just too far gone, right? You don't have enough percent pen, you don't have enough intelligence or strength, your tanks aren't tanky enough. Like, those sort of things start to add up quickly. Even if you are being proactive and trying to make things happen, DDK just had that one wrapped up.
I mean, that was pretty difficult to watch for Project Win, unable to get anything going. But hey, that's why it's a best of 3. You get a chance to run it back and maybe do some things a little differently. What changes are they going to make? Find out after the break.
afraid to turn out the lights? Is there something you're scared of? What's there out in the dark? Make sure to keep all your windows locked. Do you surrender? You try to stay awake. These walls you can't escape. Here's one for the lonely hearts, for the ones that fear the dark. You better run out of here. Bet you can't look the other way. Here's one for the broken road. That's the only one you know. You better run out, truth or dare. Get me out, take me anywhere but here. Oh, anywhere but here. Wanting something good to come, waiting for things to run away from. Are you just hiding? Yeah, walking into the fire, talking like you never die, like you're immortal. You try to stay awake. These walls you can't escape. Here's one for the lonely hearts, for the ones that fear the dark. You better run out of here. Bet you can't look the other way. Here's one for the broken road. That's the only one you know. You better run out, truth or dare. Get me out, take me anywhere but here. Here's one for the lonely hearts, for the ones that fear the dark. You better run out of here. Bet you can't look the other way. Here's one for the broken road. That's the only one you know. You better run.
Smite is at its best when it's on LAN, and we do have the LAN that everyone is playing for in Vegas completely sold out, but will be live on twitch.tv/SmiteGame and on YouTube as well. Like we said, you can't get in anymore with all the tickets being sold, but that is going to be crazy. If you are going to Vegas, any sold out esports crowd is something to be a part of. And so if you're going to LAN for the first time, I promise you it will be quite the experience with everything that you will get, everything that you'll get in addition to the games as well. But be sure to tune in at home as well. LANs are also fun to watch from home. So if you weren't able to grab a ticket, make sure you tune in from January 17th to the 19th in 2025 when the Founders Series Las Vegas LAN is on, and be sure to watch and cheer on your favorite players or teams, or cheer on just Smite in general. Trelly, how excited are you for some Vegas action?
I mean, come on, man. You know how excited we are. We have been hyping this up for I don't know how long at this point, and it's the culmination of everyone's hard work, and of course the gamers at hand who are putting on a show for us here. And DDK did just that in game number 1. Project Win. We talked about it a bit. There was some room for them to fight back. They had some decent comeback plays, but it just wasn't enough, man. That lead got far too big, far too quickly.
Yeah, it was really, and that was without them going for any Gold Furies. They had what, like a 7K lead 12 minutes in, and that was without a Gold Fury being taken off the board. So something completely different has to happen here for Project Win. They went for a very early game comp, and they did absolutely nothing early game. So I'm curious if they decide to shift things, because they seem to want to play more passive. They didn't even look for invades. They didn't do any of that as a squad early on. And you think with a Thanatos there, you'd be doing that, but I'm not seeing Thanatos get a lot of good action here today.
Yeah, I want to see something completely different out of the jungle in particular. Let's not let this Loki through. Let's try and get some prio picks in the jungle.
Yeah. Well, let's go over to the picks and bans. Let's see how things pan out for Project Win. They did start with the Fenrir ban last time. We'll see if they stick with that. We saw our typical bans come in as we saw some unorthodox compositions in the pick ban phase in the last series, but taking a little bit of time to get this first one locked in for Project Win. It will be Bacchus. So Wengu getting targeted here on that Bacchus. They did not like that at all.
Honestly, I tend to agree. After what I just witnessed, I don't hate it one bit. The Zeus is going to be the option in slot number 2, so maybe Project Win just go for that immediate Fenrir. Again, it's a pick that is not at the top echelon of these picks and bans so far, but you have to kind of move and adapt. And if you're giving up the Loki, which you don't have to do, but if you are going to, Fenrir is a pretty decent answer to the Loki early on. DDK have the ability now. Jingwei was the lock-in, of course, which again, that was a pick that DDK grabbed last time. So already trying to go for a little bit of a change up there. DDK have the position to, you know, pick their favorite, and I definitely think Loki gets the better end if you're able to make it towards late game, which they did just fine in game number 1. So not going to be a bad call. And the Ares too, man. Whew, already seems tough. Like, I guess I've just seen a lot of good Ares gameplay today, so I'm just, you know, maybe overestimating it, but Ares just seems like a menace right now, and I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of those chains.
You're right. It's not Kaos on it, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. Look, I think Ares is always going to give you a chance to win. Amaterasu shows her face for the first time today. Got banned out once, but after the sweeping nerfs across her kit, she finally gets picked in slot here, following this up. Definitely the exact opposite for Project Win. They target Wengu, also target Immortals Jingwei, trying to take away those options. When you lock in the Amaterasu with the Baron, now you're looking towards that that more late game where you can try to fight battles of attrition, even if you start losing early on here.
Yep, Baron, Ama, a lot of sustain already locked in, self-sustain and squad sustain. So anti-heal could be a target here for DDK. Brawlers, Beat Stick, Onk, Divine, things of that nature. Ares and On Her, not a bad duo lane for just trying to roll through your opponent for sure. I mean, chain into Impale is going to do enough damage to, you know, really make you set back in lane, especially like a Jingwei who just can't return it. And the Hercules as well, man. If game number 1 was like the late game comp, this is the comp of I'm just trying to be better than you at level 2. Like that is what DDK has in spades here, besides that Loki pickup. So I wouldn't want to mess with these guys early on. I do still want to see if this Ama is opting to go towards the jungle, if we'll see a switch up there. This could very easily be support solo for the Athena Ama, but I think I would prefer one of them in the jungle. I guess it depends. We'll see. Thanatos, I do not want to see again. I'm hoping that pick goes unchecked here. Remember, if the Baron's not in one of those roles, could be mid, which is something to consider as well. With the Mordred, that's probably I would prefer the Mordred in solo, to be honest with me. I like the Athena jungle. I like the Athena jungle a lot better in this position, but because it's Ama, it's probably Athena support and then Ama solo, Mordred jungle. I prefer the Mordred in solo so much more than I do in the jungle. That's just me in particular, though.
I mean, this DDK comp that you were kind of alluding to me, this does feel like we decided we've won the match, and it's time to end it in the first 10 minutes. That's what this looks like. I'm a little scared for Project Win because DDK, despite the comp they had last time, had no problem getting aggressive early. They look good doing it, and Anuba's getting locked in as well. You've got a little bit more of that burst, a little bit more of that moxie coming in on that Herc. Got the On Her and Ares as well. I'm really liking what DDK are putting down right now, and this is Project Win. I mean, this feels like a stall comp if I've ever seen one. Would that be a correct in your estimation, Trelly?
Yeah, I mean, they have decent damage later on, which is what they're trying to get to, but they also have crazy objective strat. That's something to consider as well. With Jingwei with the crit online and then Amaterasu, that could be an idea for them to try and go towards. But with that being said, Anubis just got locked in at the end for DDK, and despite taking a small nerf, Anubis is still in a good spot as well. So if you're asking me to give my preference, I gotta lean this side towards DDK once again. Not only do they have incredible early with an Anubis and a Loki, they've got the late game as well. It's gonna be hard to deal with. But Project Win, when you have something like an Athena, I think you can use that to your advantage. You can play the global game, which DDK has none of, so it'd be very hard to try and match that. It's like ult over whenever you see like a 2v1 opportunity and try and play through that. Not a difficult strategy to execute on, honestly. You just kind of look around with Athena ult. Like, anyone can do it, really.
Well, that's enough for the picks and bans. The players are in the arena and they're ready to get going. DDK looking to get up to that 2-0 mark in the standings here in EMEA Group A. They absolutely stomped the last match that they had played. We caught the tail end of game number 2 of that before today had started. And really, they picked up right where they left off. So the ball, or the proverbial ball, if you will, is in Project Win's proverbial court. And we'll see who can play better basketball. But DDK seem to have the LeBron energy right now. And a little bit of a peek from the Ares. You might just get caught here unless you get a little bit of support. Blink out, and that's what you can do. There you go, safety.
Yep, always good to have blink in those situations in particular, but not done yet. Nice punch into the wall. There's a blink. Oh no, man. If we thought, as if they needed more early pressure, you already get first blood and you get it onto Drake, who, I don't know if you remember, Dorby, but was the absolute wrecking ball in game number 1. Wengu should be fine here. A driving strike's going to get you out of the majority of your trip. Push in? I don't know if I would have done that, but I guess you got backup. That's why you push him in, because the team was on the way. Oh man, what a menace. I can't believe he pushed in, but yep, the squad had his back, so that's why you do it.
I mean, we saw it at the pick stage. It's like, okay, you guys are just trying to just straight up like roll stomp, win the game, and these invades are certainly saying it too. Look, they're still not done over on the right side as well. They're kind of looking at diving, and they decide, no. Yeah, I'm solo sitting under tower there for a little bit. Chains are out. The Ares versus Athena, as well, we saw Kaos's Ares just completely dominate the enemy Athena before, and this time we're seeing Vivez on the Ares kind of get the chains on this Athena early on. They really want to fight, blinking out to avoid any kind of impale in front, get a taunt out as well. Hopefully pick some more damage up, but this early game Jingwei not going to give you a whole lot, and this is going to be a difficult lane for sure. That Ares on her is pretty brutal.
Yeah, it seems like Scaldermain was baited into leveling the 2 first just to try and peel in that first engagement, and now you have 0 wave clear, right? Your taunt is not clearing the wave, so sure, it may have saved a first blood, which it didn't because they still died. Now you can't really clear, and you're stuck underneath your tower, so even if Nickel wanted to get active, it's just not going to happen off of this start. You got a 1-0-1 Loki to worry about. You got a one. What is this, man? I can't wait to figure out what this leads to. Teleported over to right. Dished up. Can you hit a chain though? No, too little too late, unfortunately. No way you step into that tower for the flames. If you use that driving strike a bit later, there was a chance at a dive, but did not come through. But hey, teleporter getting some action. That's something that the VS has tried multiple times already, and at the very least, it just lets you know you're not safe in your own lane.
Yeah, it makes you kind of double peek yourself when you're thinking, oh, I can push up this lane and go get this camp, and you're like, wait, they've been using those porters a lot, and wanted to see more teleporter action. You will see it a lot more, especially when a team is as confident as DDK is right now. Chains coming out, forcing them back. We'll check in on that fight in a minute. The mid lane, they're facing a lot of pressure from Drake, who just has had his way all match long, and will zone out this mid lane again, but well, at least survived. I'm not gonna give Drake those early kills that he was so seeking and got in game 1.
Wanna be the play. Already has 3 blinks on active, by the way. You gotta be paying attention. 2 Sunders for Project Win, but 3 blinks for DDK, especially when ults come through. That's gonna be pretty gross. Like a blink Anubis is gonna threaten just about anyone on the map for the time being. I'm curious about how Wengu decides to build. There's been a lot of... Oh, never mind. Oh, gets hit. We don't got any sense to yap away. Perfectly timed dash. That'll get you out of trouble if you are impact. But that's how quickly you could just get blown up at any moment. Hiding in the grass. And the assassinate came through.
I actually think Athena's done a good enough job baiting out kind of the pulls that they've been trying to getting on her to use that impale and then prevent that damage. So you have to stall. That's all you could really do against that duo, and you know, the invades for DDK continue. And all Scalderman can do is help push them back. The Ama ult absolutely coming out as well. Forces on her back, but got the impale. It actually turns this one back around. You get caught, forced out to blink, and hopefully you survive. You almost got into some trouble for the party. You get the kill though, and just got it. Nickel finally gets Vivez down, and they'll happily take that one. Had to commit a lot just to get it.
They sure did. That was a 4-man dive. Ended up working out though, and that's what you need to do. You gotta make plays like that. Sure, you can see that DDK was getting a lot of farming done in the meantime. I mean, Kalipo is just proxying waves at this point because of the freedom that this Anubis has been allotted. But I think when you're behind like that, you do have to group up and make those risky calls, because it's the only way to sort of thwart the amount of aggression that you're going to be under here. We got Anubis rotating over. Ugar does have Sunder instead of a survivability relic, so yeah, it was debating on it. Not going to net any sort of kill. This goes on back to base, but itemization is definitely important. Book of Thought picked up for Kalipo, so wouldn't have been too much damage early on. You kind of need Book of Thought stacked up, but hey, if you had help from Wengu, definitely could have netted another kill onto Kalipo's stat line. But no real aggression at the moment, just trying to farm up some buffs.
Yeah, Project Win, definitely like that they're not trying to not trying to force the fights that they even have a disadvantage in, and it'll force the beads. You'll get to survive for now, but you're still getting value if you're DDK there. And right now, I think Project Winner, this is going about almost as well as you could hope. Sure, gold lead's slowly starting to trickle in DDK's favor, but you're not trying to win those solo engagements or those 1v1 engagements. Maybe if they get more of those rotations and more picks as a unit, right? A 4v1, you're happy to find as many of those as possible if your Project Win this early on, because you're not really going to start coming online until a little later on, where all of a sudden Amaterasu is bursting you. All of a sudden Jingwei is critting you into oblivion. It will take a long time to get there, but it's not a bad start at all if you're Project Win trying to get there.
Certainly not. A little bit of aggression over in duo. Remember, Gold Fury was something that DDK was not really apt to look for with an Anubis and a Loki with hi-rez first item. Like, they definitely have the damage to try and, you know, force it if Project Win is asleep at the wheel or just not really paying attention. But I think watching Vivez this game is going to be a good tell of where everyone wants to look. Duo lane, not the call. Solo lane is the option. Great body block on the ult. Pursue the weak. Not going to get you out of any sort of trouble. It's going to be a slow burn, but definitely a kill coming through on the Hugador. But I love this call, Project Win. They recognize all the presence over on right. They go for the Gold Fury pull. Only Immortal is close by to go for the steal, and he's aware of this right now.
Has the ult available as well, but immediately gets turned on, gets taunted, forced out of the play, and will not get that Gold Fury. Great play from Project Win. Immediate call on the on-her. They had eyes on it, and that was the most important part of that play. But here comes Goobus, and with the pop, good night. Kalipo will certainly delete you, and you'll still be happy for the Gold Fury for now, but Kalipo is going a little deep here. Has a little bit of support behind him with Vivez on the chains, and this is looking kind of deadly right now. You got the flames barely surviving, popping the ult as well to get the kill. Kalipo will get that kill as well, and so it slowly looks less and less valuable, but there you go, Nickel. You do pick up Vivez. Can't just have all the fun there.
Yeah, you really can. When you're diving tier 2 tower, you better find that shutdown kill. So Gold Fury and some more action heading towards Project Win. This is what I was hoping for, and you know what? You got to be able to punish these overextensions. You got to be able to punish just way too deep dives, right? Like, that was way too much aggression here. Even if the ult connects, I don't see too much opportunity for a kill. Wengu, do you have your driving strike? No. No dive will come through there. It doesn't mean that Hugador doesn't have the ability to get active, just trying to be as aggressive as possible. Good look. Something else to consider. Again, there is an Ares in the game. Seen a lot of ults come through. Beads only picked up here for Nickel, so gonna need a purification active as quickly as possible here for Scalderman. Right now has Pharaoh's Curse, but I believe next item will grab the beads. That's gonna help out a lot, because not only is it going to be Ares ult, but you got Anubis rep, you have the Loki ult, you've got everything that Hercules can provide. There's a lot of CC here that needs to be dealt with.
Kind of sitting back, not the same kind of look that DDK were hoping for. Vivia's still deep inside enemy territory. And a slow but short team fight maybe coming over towards this duo lane as the Amaterasu and Ares find each other, but a little bit of support with the Athena means Vivias gets caught out with no support. It will come too late as the Brew comes out to make sure you can get that kill. Impact collects one, and they'll catch Vivias out. That's a huge pick for Project Win. Without that Ares, they won't be able to really aggress on the team fight, and jungle objectives will be theirs.
There's the case for now. Pretty much just all grouping over on the left side of the map. I love this switch up from Impact, by the way. The Thanatos was not given this level of freedom that this Amaterasu has. 1-0-1. Been a part of a lot of action here. Wengu would have loved to find a solo kill there, but unfortunately for Wengu, Drake's on the way. Do they have the damage to full? No, gets into the wall perfectly. Drake's on the way though. Maybe a blink ult. Yeah, blink ult is the call. And I think you can trade this too. Might as well try and fight the Ama here who got 2-level lead, 3-level lead even. Yeah, Impact. I was singing your praises. Doesn't mean you can fight the 3-level ahead Ama though.
And even in duo though, or not in duo, excuse me, in mid, it's a bit of a problem for Kalipo. Get deleted in the 1v2. Not much you could do there. DDK slowly kind of losing control of the flow of the game. Athena ult out for Impact to try to fight this, and the Anhur ult already down. Ares ult to pop him underneath. Well, at least get a little bit of a stun, but the taunt immediately after is going to delay that damage, and meaning the health bar's much more full on the side of Project Win. They've caught Vivias out. Nothing he could do. Impact gets another one, but Drake comes in quickly, takes Impact out of the play. And Drake is the X factor right now for DDK. Got those early kills, and everybody is terrified.
Yeah, Drake can do no wrong at the moment, just surging forward, killing just about everyone he comes in contact with. Not a bad look, though, to find the kill on the Khalifa. I mean, this Anubis is immobile. He doesn't quite have a lot of lifesteal, so just putting a lot of your presence there, not going to be a bad look at all. I've seen a lot of action over towards duo and now over towards mid, but again, Drake, that's the guy that needs to be shut down. That's the guy who has the lead over everyone on the map by a considerable margin. The real issue here is that despite the fact that Ama's got good burst and movement, it's really hard to track down this Loki. Like Blink, Invis, Assassinate, like there's just a lot of tools allotted towards Drake to survive in these situations. I think it would be off the back of a nice taunt from Staldermain. Great damage over in the duo lane, just back and forth. These carries want to try and have a 1v1, but Drake doesn't care about 1v1. He's going to get active. Vanish, ticket in the air, but not enough damage. Nickel gets out with a perfectly timed airstrike.
And Drake continues to be a problem for Project Win to fully take control of this game. When they get a little bit of leeway, they get a little bit of space, Drake comes right in and takes it back and keeps them down just a little bit longer. And it's actually allowed DDK to slowly extend their gold lead on the farm angle too. Despite Project Win getting a little bit more, we've had a 2k increase. Here comes the ult for Impact, hoping to pick up this kill. Just needs to swing the sword quickly, but the support comes in, and it's on her. We'll be able to help out a little bit. We're still trying to trade. This went one way before, but it might go the other way this time. You have to leap out. There is support right behind it. Via's in. Hugador in here as well, but the pillar got him out. Immortal will pick up the kill on Nickel, and without that Jingwei, it's a lot of damage off the board. The pop-up from Hercules will isolate one, and you'll try to ult out, but you'll get caught, Hugador, and you'll survive for as long as possible. The sustain is fine, the tankiness is fine, but when there are 4 bodies on you, you're not going to survive for too long. Vivias will not get the ult, or at least pop the CC immunity, and that was another team fight win here for DDK. Gold Fury up.
Well, Fury started up here. Doesn't seem like Skaldermain's got any avenue to go in for the steal. Maybe you chuck a reach. No, you probably don't want to get pulled back in. I like that call. It's like very high reward, but the risk is just not worth it. Drake stepping forward can do a little bit of good damage to Judas Priest here. I can't imagine a kill comes through right. That's supposed to be a tank, man. What? Oh my goodness. I mean, I know Varus is built full damage, but you'd think it's like a heal comes through and oh, nothing can save you. 6-0-1, 3 full items for Drake.
He comes in like a Gatling gun.
Yeah, just do what you want, man. At this point, Judas Priestley, see you later. I don't know if the blink was available. I don't think it would have helped. And now, oh my goodness, do you have the boulder? No, you don't. Already used. and you get close. No, Nickel, head on back to base. You don't want to scrap with Wengu. Can't think of anyone who does at this point. It's just like everyone on DDK is a raid boss in their own right.
Yeah, it turns out banning the Bacchus didn't really seem to matter, did it?
No, it did not.
Your right tower is under
This
attack.
one, a much more interesting first 10 minutes.
Oh, for sure.
For Project Win, right? And then these back 4 have just been complete domination from DDK again, and it's starting to get out of control. It's almost a 10k gold lead, or it's 8k right now, almost 10k, and it was just 4 like a minute ago. That's the Gold Fury, all those kills that it's gotten you. I mean, and DDK showing you while Project Win, you can adjust, you can make some of those plays. You can't get Wengu. Doesn't matter how much damage you can output. Oh, the pop, the push, and a little bit of hammer action. A couple more swings. Tower dive as well. Looking for another one as it's up, but misses. Actually gets knocked up. Doesn't matter. Pushing through. Wengu has his way.
Oh, here they come. Who else wants to join the Wengu fight? This should be a dazzling offensive. Oh, but that heal was pretty big. Wengu, how much can you stall? Not that much, but all the while, Judas Priestley falls down again. Hey, Wengu got a solo kill and was like 1v2ing for a bit, so I wouldn't be too upset about it, but yeah, they did use a lot and unfortunately lose their mid laner and a tier 1 tower if you are Project Win. But this is what I alluded to. This is what I said. They need to find like these stacked fights in their favor when they're down like this, because it's not as if you're going to group up in 5v5. That's just not going to work out for anyone.
Not at all. And I'm just going to say, all right, Herc last week survived that engagement.
Oh, yeah. And probably killed 2 more.
Right, yeah. Oh, man.
He did take some nerfs. Yeah, he did take some nerfs. He has a big lead, though. Something else to consider. Like, he's got 2, he was 2 levels up on impact, probably 3 at the time. So, you know, you're going to be able to survive for a little bit longer. Pyromancer started up. Those Naga minions also took some nerfs, so can't tank as often. Aldermain, though, wants to go in for the low-stakes steal and does not want to deal with Drake, so decided to run away. That's probably a smart call. And Viviez picks up the Runic Bomb. Immortal wanted the attempt of a solo, but Pursue the Weak is going to get you out of most situations.
Pursue the Weak has been Escape the Strong instead for this Mordred. Gotten body blocked a little too many times with it. Has had to phase through the walls just to survive. Not how you want to be playing Mordred at all.
No, the defensive Pursue the Weak is become the I was gonna say the obvious call. Juice. I was hoping he had the juke shoes. I was kind of holding my breath. Did not see it. Well timed ult just to make sure you're not getting yoinked back in. But dude, DDK, they just do what they want. There's like no contention anywhere they go.
Not at all. And no one in this group has really made DDK sweat at all. This is their second match of the group against Group A. 5 teams, and this is a strong start if there ever was one for DDK. Everyone's only played 1 match except for one, who is 1-1. So this is a chance to take top of the group 2 matches in. There are some other matches happening off air right now, which hopefully will have those results. Depends if those matches are finished by the time this one is over. But with DDK, the amount of time it's taken to win, there's a good chance that those matches won't be over yet. DDK are trying to easily run through the first day of last chance quals.
Yeah, this one is going very quickly, so we'll have to see about that. But hey, Gold Fury once again started up, third of the game. Not a bad look to try and go for here. No one on the side of Project Win is anywhere close. And remember, there is going to be some crit chance being built here, which will definitely help out, at least for Nickel, but it doesn't seem like Immortal is really prioritizing that. So Fire Giant might take a little bit longer to shred through. It's not as if Khalifa isn't going to help out and Drake isn't going to help out with that. There's a lot of DPS to be done here for DDK. But I'm at the point where if I'm Immortal, I'm letting you finish up that item. And then I'm like, bro, it's time to do fire. Like, let's get on the right side of the map. Speaking of Immortal, though, he's getting dove by 3. Doesn't quite know it yet, but there is a big grouping in the duo lane trying to dive the tier 1 tower. There's Blink Taunt. Can anyone help out the honor? Doesn't seem like it.
Oh, well, then we'll at least get in there after he goes down. And now there's a little bit of support. Goobus is here as well. Khalifa takes down Skaldermain. Ult is out as well, but just out of the range there of Impact, who has to ult away from everybody. And even a blink as Drake really wants this kill. He'll keep on running and running and running. And here he goes. Drake getting a little bit more of that damage. Sorry, Impact. You got Loki. Good night.
Yep. You don't have that. Oh, Pursue the Weak was almost coming through. Can you find it? Ring around the rosy. This should be a kill onto Drake. Can anyone find the shutdown? Yes, Judas Priestley finally picks it up. 8-0 is as big as you get. There was a little bit of a spike there in the gold shards, but not enough to empty up the lead. Certainly enough to shut down Drake for a bit. But Kalipo, oh no, how much energy can you charge up in the meantime is the question. Is it enough to get your big boy ult, or are you getting ran down here by Anubis? Is the question. Yep, you got your ult. You should be fine here. No body blocks will take place. And oh no, that was not the call. You can't teleport. Now you just get run down again, man.
Yeah, the pillar. And now it's just poke, poke, and eventually prod your way to death. Good night to you, Immortal. Had you locked in. What a pillar. That was sick.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was a better way to go, but the teleporter unfortunately was not the avenue out that you might have thought it was, because Kalipo had that one on lockdown. We didn't really talk about this lane swap. Like, Nickel has been on the right side of the map for a while because it didn't really net much. Like, Nickel still got soloed by Wengu, so it wasn't as if like heading over to this side of the map was going to thwart the Hercules. Now trying to 1v3 here. Probably going to get pulled underneath the tower, but does he even care to walk under the tower himself? Oh, where's the Sunder? He had Sunder. That Sunder would have killed.
Maybe wanted to save it for Fire Giant, which they want next.
Maybe it's, yeah, okay. Maybe it's not. I thought it was. That makes sense. He was attempting to go in for the kill there. Didn't quite have it, but, oh, Kalipo almost found it. You might have to ult out here. Let's see if he can make it.
We'll get the Alden. Oh my god. Yeah, talk about a volcano. Absolutely melted him. And yeah, sorry. Pursue the Weak. Not going to get you anything. You get body blocked. Kalipo on the Anubis. That's just nasty. Wrap it up. And it looks like EDK may tap that Fire Giant coming up. But Nickel actually gets a little pick on Immortal on the other side. I don't think that's going to do too much here for Project Win, though.
Debatable on a Fire Giant pull. Probably the call here. They've got the HP. And they're going to burn through it, no problem. No one on the... Wengu said, I'll help later. Like,
why was I thinking he'd even save the Sunder for a Fire Giant?
No,
like, of course it was only down, right?
Yeah, I just love that he chucked the boulder and then went back to farming. He's like, I helped. There's 300 damage, idiots. I'm going to go back and get more farm. I'm Hercules. And hey, you know what? From what I've seen, you're allowed to do that, Wengu. You've been having a heck of a performance so far. It's you too. It'll be big here for Project Win if they can get it untouched. And it seems like they will. No one's going to be able to stop them for the time being. So a little bit of extra gold in their pocket. That'll go a long way. But I will say, Judas Priestley. Oh, this build, man. I think you needed some percent pen like yesterday. Can you imagine trying to see this Baron do damage to like Wengu? Like, no. he went Glad Shield 4th item. Like, if you thought he wasn't doing damage for 4, he's really not doing damage now. The Divine helps for sure, but it's like, I think you needed like a totem or an obsidian shard very early on.
I feel like there was the same problems in the build for Project Win in the last game too. Like no way to like chew through the tankiness of DDK in game 1. Like they didn't go for any of that percent pen, and especially with Titan's Bane and Obsidian Shard getting that nice juicy 20% passive on pen. I think you'd be picking that one up at some point, surely.
I mean, it definitely would have been worthwhile, but it's just not going to be the case here. Needed more survivability, I guess. I will say there is an argument to be made that like living longer and doing less damage is like more worth than just dying. I'm just not sure that Glad Shield is going to be the different thing. Let's find out. Let's see if the Glad Shield is enough to get Judas out of any sort of trouble. This is a magical damage dealer, so not going to help. But here we go. There's Wengu. Are you going to be able to live through this one? Well, no. I mean, Kalipo has 5 items to his name, so I don't think much would have got you out of that situation.
Yeah, when Anubis is that far ahead, it's going to be tough. 11-1 and 3 is light work here for the mid laner on DDK, and well, slowly but surely the lanes have gotten pushed. The tier 2s have fallen, and they're looking at eliminating everybody here at the mid Phoenix. Pursue the Weak. You got no lasso wrapping around everybody, so you got nobody. Beads is out, you're out. Kalipo picks up another kill. The inevitable is here. The Phoenix will go down, and he only got 3 here. Wengu does not care, man. He just goes right in. He's like, what are you going to do about it? I'm Hercules. I'll push you right back into the fountain. I'll ult you in the fountain. Force your ult out. Push you back in. Your health bar gets absolutely obliterated. Wengu, it's his lobby. You banned my Bacchus? I ban your game. Good night to you. How about I pop you out, push you back into the freaking flames, burn it down on Project Win. DDK pushing him in the fountain. Nothing to be done. Nothing you can do. Wengu and company will take the win. GG's for DDK.
Dude, their fountain was not safe when you just pulled. I mean, hey, the VS also pulled them out, but there was so much just pulling them out of their own safety. And unfortunately for them, man, Project Win. I may have set them up for this, if I'm honest, Jorby. You asked me if it was going to be a stomp, 2 stomps. I said no. I said that we lean DDK for sure, but like I'm going to have a little bit more faith. But man, I mean, DDK came out swinging. Say what you want about their lackadaisical approach to objectives in game 1. This was anything but in game number 2. And I gave a lot of credit to Drake in game number 1. Drake had a pop-off performance as well. You know, Anubis is looking good. I want to look at Wengu because the Herc was not a pick that I thought was going to be too highly contested this week. Like his nerfs made him seem more viable in jungle, at least from what I've seen. But there is still a world for someone that can hit poles, and this was Wengu's world today, and I was enjoying it thoroughly.
Absolutely was. I do still want to give the flowers over to Drake for his early game.
Oh, for sure.
Those early picks again. That Loki was a problem, and you even called this out, Trelly. You know, you're a smart guy, right? In the pick stage, you're like, please get rid of the Loki. He's a problem. Don't let Drake do it. Well, they let Drake do it, and that's what you get. But you wanted to see that Wengu. There you go. 2-1-15. Woo! My God.
Yeah, I mean, he was a part of a lot of action. He was a part of a lot of damage, and I assume, mitigated a lot of damage because he was in the thick of it time and time again. Khalipa, of course, getting the better end of all these kills. That's expected when you are doing like the majority of the magical damage on your squad in a situation like this. Anubis is also just in a good spot through and through. But yeah, this is the stat that I'm curious about. 32,000 damage mitigated. Hey, Ugador was pretty close to 29. Like Scalderman was at 30K, but on the winning team, like the team that was just steamrolling and you're mitigating that much, definitely not a bad look. And, you know, a force to be reckoned with, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. You got that 30K damage on Kalipo. That is some nasty work. And obviously, Drake actually getting a lot of damage on that Loki as well. I mean, we saw the bursts that he had. No, not afraid to double blink into anywhere to get him a kill. But like we said, like even in the pick ban stage, it was confident picks. It was confident early invades from DDK. It felt like they went into game 2 being like, we won this, boys. Let's have some fun.
Dude, they really stopped game 1 and said, you know what we should do? We should fight them before the game starts. Like, that's just kind of messed up when you just like steamroll game 1 and then you do it to them again. That's something that like I would have expected from Project Win. Like, bro, we just got kind of rolled. We need to bring it to them early. Let's hide in their grass and speed buff. But hey, you never know what to expect. And say what you want. They're the disciples of chaos, and they brought it today. They brought chaos. Like, they really did.
Oh, it was chaotic, and Project Win could never really get their feet on the ground. They're 2-0 now in the standings. Let's take a look at those real quick. On the EMEA side, this is Group A, and we do see Disciples of Chaos at the very top. That 4± with the 2-0, meaning you won all 4 and lost none of your in-games. So they haven't dropped a single game yet. Let's go Asgard again. Not having a great time there on the 0-2, and everyone else on a 1-1 mark in the middle. We saw what Mega Plumbers brought in their match against Chase the Enemy, and it may come down between those two teams, DDK and Mega Plumbers, but will it just be a stomp at the top? We don't know until we see that matchup. We will see it a little later on. We won't see it today. That's it for Group A today in EMEA.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You have to be looking towards who's going to be taking that top end spot because that's very important as far as groups go. And so, for my opinion, for now, we haven't seen a lot. This is very early days. I mean, it's literally we've been live a couple hours.
I'm going to remember everything you say here. So,
yeah,
choose your words carefully.
I'm just saying DDK may be the top dog and everyone's fighting for number 2. Like that we have a very early start. But that's what it's looking like so far. So for some, you got to change my opinion. Someone got to dethrone DDK. I'll be watching closely, but that's where I'm putting my my mark for the time being.
I got a tip for all the teams in Group A against DDK. Just ban Loki. And force Drake to play
And
something else.
don't ban Bacchus. Wengu
Yeah.
doesn't like it. He gets so mad.
He took it personally, for sure. Oh, man. Absolutely crazy start to the day.
Yep.
But we won't see any more EMEA on stream today. We're going to be moving over to the NA side of this last chance qualifier. I'm excited to catch those matches, but this is it for me and you, Trelly. We are done for the day. Malum and Gormizer will be taking you guys through the rest of the action today. So make sure you get up, you take a little bit of a break. We're going to have that next match ready for you soon. So after the break, we'll be back with more Smite action. We'll see you on the other side.